A man was lucky enough to pick a rare flower on the cliff that was said to cure all poisons. He hurriedly climbed toward the top, desperate to save himself, or perhaps the people who were waiting above. But suddenly, the roots holding his rope in place were ripped out of the rock, root and all. He had no choice but to grab hold of the stone with all his strength. The massive pull from the fallen roots nearly dragged him off the cliff. To lighten the load, Robinson untied the rope tied around his waist, but that immediately created a new problem. How was he going to get back up? The only chance left was to hope his companion at the top could help. In a hurry, Oliver used her own clothes, tied them into a makeshift rope, and threw it down. Her plan was to pull the trapped Robinson up with it. Bad luck, the rope wasn't long enough. Robinson couldn't reach it at all, which left Oliver stuck between panic and helplessness. She looked down at the only remaining piece of clothing on her body. There was no time to think she had to use it. As she threw the extended rope down, things finally worked out. The length was just enough. Robinson quickly grabbed on and began climbing upward with all his might, heart racing the whole time. He was terrified the fabric would tear. After a frantic effort, he made it. Right away, Robinson tossed the clothing up to Oliver. Then they both waited, trying to breathe normally despite the danger still hanging over them. Afterward, the two of them rushed back to the treehouse only to find that Friday, locked up and going wild in the cage, had escaped. While they searched around the roof, Friday had already climbed up somewhere below, hidden in the dark, raising his bow and aiming at them. Luckily, Oliver reacted fast and dodged the fatal shot, but Friday was already fully out of control. He didn't give them a second to respond. He immediately pressed the attack. Frightened, Robinson snapped open the treehouse's defensive shutters and pulled Oliver into a blind spot from where they couldn't be easily targeted. Still, it was only temporary. To keep Friday quiet, Robinson pulled out a hollow embroidery needle, stuffed it into a blow dart, poured in a little rice wine as the liquid, and then inserted it into a bamboo tube. In the end, he had made a dart that could be fired. Oliver also quickly chopped up the snow silk flower she'd brought back. Little did they know that at that very moment, Friday was already searching below for where the two of them were. Once the antidote finished brewing, Robinson, while trying to distract Friday, warmly offered Oliver help checking the wound on her arm. He even carefully bandaged it for her. For a moment, it almost looked like they might have forgotten they were in immediate danger. Then, guided by the sounds from the wooden boards, Friday successfully pinpointed their location. Before they could react, Robinson fell straight into the trap he had set for Friday. Friday was already waiting beneath the treehouse. With a fierce, merciless grip, he held the bow and trained the arrow on him, ready to release at any moment. While Oliver was shifting Friday's attention, Robinson slipped out of the wooden cage and tried to talk to him, bringing up what had happened between them earlier on the deserted island, hoping to stir Friday's rationality back into him. The tactic actually worked a little. Friday hesitated. Robinson seized the moment and rushed forward to steady him, urging him to drink the antidote. But Friday suddenly went berserk. He shoved Robinson hard, slamming him into the roots. Immediately after, Friday lifted a large stone as if he were about to finish him. Then right as he was about to strike, Friday saw Robinson transform into the image of his own father. The sight shocked him into stopping, but it was only a worsening poison-induced hallucination. Terrified, Friday fled in panic. That was how Robinson saved his life. Even though he was injured, he still wanted to go find Friday, who was in immediate danger. Oliver, however, kept urging him not to take the risk. If they waited in the treehouse, Friday would come back on his own. That only made Robinson more agitated. After being trapped on the island for years, he had built up too much pressure and too much anger. He flipped a table in frustration. Oliver, caught off guard, hid nearby without knowing what to do. After that failure, Robinson's mental state finally broke down completely. He couldn't return to his beloved wife, and now his good brother had become like this too. At that point, he couldn't take it anymore. He covered his face and cried out in pain. He couldn't understand why God insisted on tormenting him like this. Seeing him like that, Oliver felt genuinely heartbroken. She stepped forward to comfort him, but Robinson quickly chose to pull away. He knew he had to keep a distance from Oliver, or he would be far too likely to lose control. After calming down, Robinson decided to use his own life as bait to draw Friday out. The idea was simple. When Friday attacked him, Oliver could take advantage of that opening to knock Friday out. Then they could feed him the antidote. Oliver didn't agree. Angry, she turned and started to leave. Robinson had no choice but to beg her again, over and over. Crying and suffering, Oliver still couldn't find a reason to refuse. Then she raised a gun and aimed it at Robinson. Sure enough, Friday, who was hiding nearby, showed up soon. Friday quickly lifted his bow and tried to end Robinson as fast as possible, but Oliver was faster. She locked her eyes on Friday. The hallucination returned again suddenly. Seizing the opening, Robinson swiftly fired another dart at him. Before long, Friday collapsed to the ground. The two of them rushed over and forced the antidote into him. From then on, it was all up to Friday's fate, hoping he could be revived and survive.